Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
Just goes to show the offense for the Dallas Stars could not keep up. And when the defense needed to step up, the Lightning's offense just overpowered them.
It makes it almost impossible for their bats to get going or have any confidence in the locker room when you're getting absolutely hosed on the defensive end.
He's like, oh shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It's their defense, man. Mika Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt.
You saw Luka. I'm very intrigued to see how Luka bounces back after his first playoff series.
For next season, there are massive free agents like Giannis. And if Giannis goes to a team like the Heat, like I said before, I expect them to win the championship. 4 teams who could win the AFC in my mind, legitimately. Steelers, Chiefs, Titans, Ravens.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert and Tony Pollard.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life.
So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing to have the Astros win a World Series and then you have to hear them.
Now LeBron's a 4-time champion and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
I think you have 2 established number 1 wide receivers in Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup, and I think you have an emerging star in CeeDee Lamb.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the 26th episode of Outsiders Opinions. Our latest episode was our final power rankings for the NFL season, so go listen to find out who's at number 1 and who missed the top 10, and you know the drill, so make sure to go check it out. Let us know what you think about our picks in the comments. Today we will be reviewing wildcard matchups and making our picks. And just a reminder for the wildcard, the Packers and Chiefs are not playing this weekend because they got that bye in the number 1 seed. So I'll let Austin start with the first game on Saturday.
So the first game is at 1:05 Eastern. It's Bills versus Colts. It's going to be a pretty tight game in my opinion. I have it at 32-27 with the Bills winning. The reason is I feel like the Bills are still a little bit injured, and while they are on a hot streak, I feel like the Colts, run by Frank Reich and Phillip Rivers, will have enough firepower to stay close. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is a really interesting game because the Colts have a great defense, but we just saw the Bills just face another great defense in the Dolphins, and they scored 56. So I actually believe it's going to be leaning more in the favor of the Bills, but I can definitely see the Colts making it. The key player to me that really impacts their defense is DeForest Buckner, and he's listed as questionable. So I think if he definitely plays the game and he's feeling well, he can definitely help the defense make it a close one. But since I don't see it that close, I have the score being 31-21. So Bills got a nice 10-point lead.
Yeah, we both agree on the winners there. So let's move on to the second game, where we have the Seahawks versus the Rams. It's all up to if Jared Goff plays, which both of us expect to happen. Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey on that defense have been giving Russell Wilson problems the entire season. So I see the Rams winning a close one-score game, 21-13. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely see it's going to be a great close one. You mentioned Jared Goff. I also think Andrew Whitworth being back, he's a great left tackle. It's great to see him back, and he will be facing his former teammate in Carlos Dunlap. And the Rams, even though they're lower seed, I can definitely see him making it to the Super Bowl. And you mentioned Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, but it's also the supporting cast, in my opinion. You got Leonard Floyd, there's Corey Littleton. And Leonard Floyd, to me, I think, is a guy because you know Aaron Donald, but I think Leonard Floyd is the deciding factor because that Seahawks offensive line is not very good. And I think Aaron Donald combined with Leonard Floyd will cause a lot of pressure, which leads to big plays that Jalen Ramsey can make and other corners. And we saw him score a touchdown, and I think that's what puts him over the top. So I have the Rams winning 21-17. Just I gave 4 more points to the Seahawks than you.
Yeah, so we both agree on the winners of the first two. That game, the Rams versus Seahawks, is at 4:40 Eastern. So let's move on to the last game of Saturday, which is at 8:15 Eastern between Washington and Tampa Bay. Washington has one of the best defenses in the league with one exciting talent and Chase Young, who's really taking over the world right now. But it's Tom Brady, and we know how he performs in these games. It's back-to-back seasons now where he's playing in the wild card, which feels weird. But he has Mike Evans is expected to play, and he has talent like Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin to help him out, along with his teammate with the Patriots, Rob Gronkowski. I think Bruce Arians will put in a good system for this game, and I expect the Bucks to win by 10 points, 24-14. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you on the Bucks. I'll get to the score prediction a little bit later. The thing about Washington is that defense. You mentioned it, Chase Young. He's the big one. There's also Jonathan Jonathan Adams or
Jonathan
Jonathan
Allen.
Allen. Yeah, and then there's Montez Sweat. Great defensive line. The thing about Washington is Alex Smith, and he's listed as questionable again with that calf injury. While Alex Smith is doing a great job, I think we saw his play in the Eagles. He wasn't very mobile, and that was against the Eagles team that was missing Fletcher Cox. And the Bucks, I think, to me, have a better defense. They have a good pass rusher in Shaquille Barrett. They also have Ndamukong Suh, and so I think they'll cause a lot more pressure, which will hurt Alex Smith because he's not as mobile because of that calf injury, and the Washington doesn't have a good offensive line, even though they do have that great right guard, Brandon Sheriff. I don't think they can do it. So that's why I have the Bucks winning by 28 and the Washington football team only scoring 10 points. Field goal and a touchdown. Maybe they get good field position from a big play on defense.
Yeah, so let's move on to the first game on Sunday between the Ravens and the Titans. This game is at 1:05 Eastern. So this is the same game that happened last year in the divisional round, where the Ravens got the bye and played a Titans team that was right off of beating Tom Brady. Derrick Henry took over that game, and I think he is the key factor. Can the Ravens stop the run game? That's really the question that the most of us ask ourselves when we make this prediction. And by my prediction, I don't think so. I think Derrick Henry, who just ran for over 2,000 yards this season, is unstoppable against a defense like the Ravens, who, even though they're getting Calais Campbell healthy, I don't think it will do enough, as his production this season is as low since his rookie season. So I had the Titans winning 23-20 in a close game, but I think the Titans have the edge. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you for the first time as we all agreed on the Saturday picks. I definitely believe Derrick Henry is going to be a big player, but I don't think he's the most important player for the game. Like, he's a great player, but the deciding factor to me is Ryan Tannehill. And to me, the Titans and Ravens, they're the same type of football team. Run the ball. You have a ball carrier in the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. You also have J.K. Dobbins. And the Titans, you, of course, have Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are different as themselves, as Derrick Henry is just going to truck you over and Lamar Jackson is going to juke you. So to me, these teams both struggle with when they get behind. They have to get away from the run game. So I look to the passing game. And while the Titans have a better passing game, I'm interested to see if Ryan Tannehill can take advantage of if Marlon Humphrey, who's listed as questionable, and Jimmy Smith questionable, if they're both out, can he take advantage of those injuries? And if they do, then I can see the Titans winning. But because I think Marlon Humphrey is going to play, and the same with Jimmy Smith, I believe Marlon Humphrey is going to play, and he's the more important one than Jimmy Smith. And if that happens, I see the Ravens winning because I think their passing defense is better. Well, their defense in general is better than the Titans' defense. And I think Calais Campbell is going to come up big, and he's going to help invigorate that defense. And so I have the Ravens winning 28-21 just by a touchdown.
Yeah, so that's the first difference in picks for this entire prediction so far. we can move on to the second game on Sunday, which is at 4:40 Eastern, um, between the Saints and the Bears. So the Bears had a very interesting season. They started off 5-1, ended it 3-1, and in the middle went 0-6, which is, I mean, it's not that impressive. Nick Foles got him some wins, Mitch Trubisky got him some wins, and a lot of chaos ensued throughout, and they just barely sneaked into the playoffs at 8-8. The Saints, they have Drew Brees, who's been there before, done it. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Also, Jordan's going to come to play. Alvin Kamara, if he can play, will make the difference. And I think this game will be a lot closer if he can't. If Kamara can't play, I see there's a good chance that the Bears can make it a game because of how good their defense is and how many playmakers they have, like Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson, and all of them. But I don't really see it being that close because I expect Kamara to play and I expect Michael Thomas to make an impact and Drew Brees to do what he does. And I have the Saints winning 31-18. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with the winner on the Saints and the Bears. I think they kind of just lulled in, but the problem is Mitch Trubisky at quarterback, but also the offensive line. The offensive line is terrible. They do get a key break with Hendrickson being out for the Saints, but you still have Cameron Jordan, as you mentioned, and I don't see Mitch Trubisky making enough throws against the Saints defense. So I have the Saints scoring 28 points because I don't believe much in their offense right now, especially against that Bears defense, because they just can't stretch the field with Drew Brees. So I have the Saints scoring 28 points and then the Bears scoring 16 points. They'll get a lot of field goals.
Yeah, so now we're down to the last game of the wild card round between the Browns and the Steelers. This one is at 8:15 Eastern Sunday night. So this is a rematch of what happened in Week 17. The Steelers and Browns. The Steelers weren't at full health, I guess at full capacity. They sat some guys like Ben Roethlisberger. But I see this game being close for many reasons. One of them being the Browns' running game. I think that Nick Chubb can really take over the game and especially the clock, forcing the Steelers' offense to not be on the field as much. Kareem Hunt also brings a great change of pace back who can receive more than he can run, but he's elusive. And it really comes down to how Baker plays in his first playoff game, I think. It's also big if Denzel Ward does not play, as he'll be key in stopping Chase Claypool and the other good Steelers receivers. But I see it being close, and really what edges it out is the experience that Ben Roethlisberger has. He's won multiple Super Bowls. He's been there before. And even though he's 3-6 in his last 9 playoff games, I do believe that experience will carry him over the edge, and the Steelers will win 27-22. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I agree with the winner on the Steelers, and you mentioned Ben Roethlisberger and um, Baker Mayfield, but I also want to look at the head coaches. Kevin Stefanski, first year head coach, and he's not even allowed to play because of COVID reasons. And then you got Mike Tomlin, a great coach. And he's been here multiple times. He's won the Super Bowl. So that's a big factor. And I can't find who the coach is who's subbing in for Kevin Stefanski, but that puts him at a disadvantage. So I have the Steelers winning. I also think Denzel Ward's out, and for the injury list, there are 7 players for the Browns listed as questionable, and the Steelers have no players listed. So that's another big factor. One of those questionable players is Myles Garrett, and I think that's a big thing. So I kind of see this not as being super close because Steelers are playing their big players, and I think the Steelers. I don't trust in the Browns yet, so I trust in the Steelers. So I have the Steelers scoring 31 points and the Browns just scoring 17. And I think that's it. Any other thoughts, Austin?
No, yeah, I'm excited for this weekend. I hope for some good games.
Yeah, we get an extra 2 games because of the new format, and I'll just add on. I really like the format because it made Week 17, I think, more competitive. What do you think?
Yeah, it's an interesting take, expanding, because I think it makes the regular season less valuable because now the Bears get in and they're 8-8. But I mean, the NFC East was already going to have a team like that. I did like the AFC getting an extra team in. I feel like the Colts. I mean, I honestly feel like they should just do the top 14 teams at this point on both leagues. But they're not going to do that because of division rivalries and all that. But I feel like the Dolphins had a place here, and they are better than I would say 4 of the teams here. But I do agree that Week 17 was compelled to bring a lot of attention to the sport, and they did a good job doing that, despite the fact that like the Steelers sat players and stuff like that happens even when the playoff are on the line.
Yeah, well, it will definitely be great to watch him. Definitely not going to leave my couch. So thank you for listening to our 26th episode. Actually, it's our 27th. My bad on that. Please check out our last episode where we gave our prediction, where we did our power rankings. If this is your first time listening to our show, make sure to go check out our new trailer to learn what our podcast is all about. And for everyone else, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Click on the bell to turn on notifications, as for our next episode, we will be reviewing our picks for the Wildcard weekend and just talking about what we thought of the games. Were there big plays? Did Derrick Henry do something amazing again like he did? Or were there other players that kind of emerged out of the playoffs?